This video is for week 7 over the muscular system. Starting with the sternocleidomastoid, that would be in this region up here. It flexes and laterally rotates your head. Your trapezius starts around here and does cross over posteriorly, stabilizes, raises, retracts, and rotates your scapula. Your deltoid, which is in this region, around the shoulder, crosses from anterior to posterior as well. It's a prime mover of arm abduction when all fibers contract simultaneously. The pectoralis major would be in this region, and it's a prime mover of arm flexion, and it also rotates your arm medially as well as abducting your arm. The biceps brachii would be in this region. It flexes the elbow joint and supinates the forearm. The brachialis, which is more off to the side laterally right here, is a major forearm flexor. The brachioradialis, which would be right around here, is a synergist in forearm flexion. And then the pronator teres, which would be over here more, pronates your forearm. The flexor carpi radialis is a powerful wrist flexor, and it abducts your hand, and that's in this region. The palmaris longus, which is more down here, tenses skin and fascia of palm during hand movements. The gluteus medius is in this region, and it abducts and medially rotates the thigh. The sartorius is around this region. It flexes, abducts, and laterally rotates the thigh. The rectus femoris is more towards the middle here, and it extends the knee and flexes your thigh. The vastus medialis is right around here, closer to your knee. It extends the knee. The fibularis longus, which would be more down here, plantar flexes and everts your foot. The tibialis anterior should be just inferior to that fibularis longus, is a prime mover of dorsiflexion, and the soleus would be more medially part of the leg, and it plantar flexes your foot. And then the gastrocnemius, beyond in this region, it's more posterior, and it plantar flexes your foot. The vastus lateralis is in this region, and it extends and stabilizes the knee. The gracilis is right in here, your inner thigh, and it adducts the thigh and flexes and medially rotates the leg. The adductor longus is more it's superior to the gracilis. It adducts and flexes and medially rotates the thigh as well. The tensor fasciae latae is more on this region of the thigh, and it steadies the knee and trunk on the thigh by making the iliotibial tract taut. The rectus abdominis would be this region of the abdomen. It flexes, rotates the lumbar region of your vertebral column. The external obliques are more off to this area. They flex the vertebral column and compress abdominal wall, and they also aid in trunk rotation and lateral flexion. The intercostals are right here within the ribs. The external intercostals pull ribs toward one another to elevate the rib cage, but the internal draw ribs together and depress the rib cage. The orbicularis oris would be right around the mouth. It closes the lips, purses and protrudes the lips, and it's known as the kissing or the whistling muscle. The orbicularis oculi is the region around the eye. It closes your eye. And then the frontal belly, which would be right in this region, raises your eyebrows as well as wrinkle the forehead skin horizontally. The infraspinatus, going posterior here, would be in this region, and it rotates the humerus laterally. The rhomboid major is a little inferior to that, and it stabilizes the scapula. The triceps brachii is a posterior portion of your humerus. It's a powerful forearm extensor. And the brachioradialis, which is more in this region, is a synergist and forearm flexion. The extensor carpi radialis longus would be in this region down here, and it extends the wrist as well as abducting the wrist. The extensor digitorum would be right around here, lying superiorly to the extensor carpi radialis longus. It is a prime mover of finger extension. And then the extensor carpi ulnaris would be more towards the middle, and it extends and adducts the wrist. And then the flexor carpi ulnaris is more in this region over here, and it's a powerful flexor of the wrist as well, and it adducts the hand. The gluteus maximus would be in this region. It is a major extensor of the thigh. Semimembranosus muscle would be in this region, posterior thigh here. It extends your thigh as well as flexes your knee. And then lying inferior to that is the semitendinosus. It does the exact same thing. It extends the thigh and flexes the knee. The plantaris is this region posterior of the knee. It is cis and knee flexion and plantar flexion of the foot. The iliotibial tract is more in this region. It wraps around from the anterior to the posterior part of your leg. The lumbar fascia is this region of the back. And then the latissimus dorsi, which would be right in this region, is a prime mover of arm extension. It's a powerful arm adductor, and it medially rotates the arm at your shoulder.
Yep.
Yep.